actually trying, kind of like here in Scottsdale, it's like the girls here, they all try to be good looking. And so it's kind of like the Scottsdale of Spain. And so Seville, Spain is where I tell all my single guy friends to go to. Hello and welcome to Darren's Travels. On this travel, we talk about traveling the world by yourself if you're a guy. And one of the things that came up recently is some of my friends who are recently divorced and they want to take their first trip overseas. And they were always asking me like where to go, where's like the best looking girls in the world. And so here's kind of like my little list or whatever. And the caveat is what I'll say is that from my experience, American girls are the funnest girls in the world. I mean, if you're looking for a night just to go out to have fun, it's so much easier to meet girls in Vegas or LA or here in Scottsdale, whatever, than overseas. But overseas, the girls are much better looking overall. And so when you're traveling overseas and you're thinking about, where are the prettiest girls, for me, what I do is I always go to the mall one of the days when I'm traveling, and I think the mall is a fair like apples to apples comparison of every city in the world on the the quality or how pretty the girls are, because all the girls go to the mall, and so it's kind of like the fair comparison. I mean, you're not like compared, it's like you can find like super good looking girls and I don't know, and then the exclusive clubs and Hungary in Budapest, Budapest, whatever. But there's not going to be a whole lot of good-looking girls at the mall, just regular girls. But and then also, and what I just said is that you're comparing cities too. You're not comparing countries, because I mean, as you know, if you go to Nebraska here in the U.S., it's going to be different than if you go to Miami. And so same thing, if you're overseas, one city is completely different than the other city in the same country. So I always talk about cities when I'm talking about, where to go if you're a guy. The number one city, as far as I'm concerned, and unfortunately you can't go there now, is Moscow, Russia. The best looking girls by a long shot are in Moscow. There's a section of Moscow kind of about a half a mile from Red Square, and it's kind of like a shopping area, and it's kind of like an outdoor mall, and you will see a drop dead gorgeous girl every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes walking by in Moscow during the summer. I was there in May, and I've never seen anything like it. Never. And I've been to 60 different cities, 70 different cities, and I've never seen anything like Moscow, Russia. Unfortunately, because of the war, though, nobody's visiting there, and I definitely wouldn't suggest you go there now. But if ever things change, Russian girls in Moscow are very good looking. The second place would be Ukraine, ironically. Either Kyiv or Kharkiv. One of those two cities. Kyiv is the number one city, the most popular, biggest city in Ukraine, and then Kharkiv is the second biggest city. I've been to both and spent quite a bit of time there, and there's very good-looking girls there. And so that's probably my second place. And I guess they're all kind of like Slavic-looking, both Ukrainians and Russians or whatever. And so maybe that's why I think they're 1 and 2. But if you're a guy, go over there. Also, and I don't know, well, I'll talk about this at the end as far as like, what race you are and whether or not where you should go. But for right now, anyway, Moscow is the first place. Kyiv and Kharkiv are both tied kind of for second place to go for best looking girls. The third place would be Stockholm, Sweden. Stockholm, Sweden has some of the best looking girls in the world. Although the reputation, it's not as good as the reputation, I guess. Yes, if you're in the bar, if you're in Sturkampen at 2 o'clock in the morning, you'll see some of the prettiest girls you've ever seen in your life. But just like walking around like during the day, you'll see good-looking girls, better than average for sure, but they're not all, super good-looking like they are in Moscow. But still, probably the third best place to go is in, if you're looking for like pretty girls. The next place, number 4, is Zagreb, Croatia. I know it's not on a lot of people's lists, a lot of travelers' lists, whatever, but I thought that the girls in Zagreb were very good looking. And I was only there for probably 7 days, maybe, I think it was. And the Croatian girls are good looking. Croatian girls, they know they're good looking though, which is kind of weird because they're not the best looking girls in the world, but they think they are. So they have a really good, like, healthy confidence, I guess. But they're good looking for sure. If you like tall girls, skinny girls, and they just have a good, like, that Southern Slavic look. So that's my fourth place I tell guys to go to. 5th is Riga, Latvia. I just went to Riga recently, and I was surprised that I had no idea that the girls in Riga looked as good as they did. And it's interesting because Riga, Latvia it's in between Estonia and Lithuania. It's that Baltic country right in the middle, and the girls are just completely different in Latvia and in Riga than they are in Estonia and Lithuania. I never really saw any good-looking girls in Estonia or Lithuania, but in Riga, they're definitely different, and they're definitely good-looking. One of the things you have to be worried about is there's scams in Riga. Riga's kind of like Odessa, where you have like a lot of really good-looking girls who are trying to get you into the bars and things like that. But you have to be aware of that in Riga. But Riga has good-looking girls. And then finally, I'll talk about Seville, Spain. The southern city of Seville is a great place for pretty girls if you're traveling the world or whatever. Not Madrid, not Barcelona, but Seville, Spain in the south. And the reason why they're so good-looking is because they try. They try to be good-looking. They have fake eyelashes, implants, all that stuff, whereas like they're actually trying, kind of like here in Scottsdale. It's like the girls here, they all try to be good looking, and so it's kind of like the Scottsdale of Spain. And so Seville, Spain is where I tell all my single guy friends to go to if they're looking to take their first trip. And that's kind of like my list of 6 or 7 places to go. Now, what you can obviously tell from that list is all the countries that I say are in Eastern Europe or Central Europe, and then I guess in Spain and Scandinavia. But that's because depending on your race, and again, this is, take it for what it's worth, this is just my observation. If you're black, you're going to have a good time in Russia, Ukraine, Sweden, Prague, Croatia, all those places where you look different. That's the bottom line, is you go where you look different. And so because you're different, some girls are going to have that, they're going to be attracted to you just because you're different. And so, like I said, if you're black, go to one of those countries. If you're white, same thing, but go to South America, go to Asia, because you're going to have a super easy time down there because you look different from the local guys, and the girls are going to be into you just because you look different. And so that's, again, that's the best place for white guys. If you're a Latin guy, go to Central Europe, go to Hungary, go to Prague. For whatever reason, all those Central European girls love Latin guys. They love the Latin music. They're into all that stuff. So definitely go there for whatever reason. That's just all my Eastern European girlfriends. They all talk about Latin guys when they're over there in Hungary and Poland and Prague, things like that. Whatever. So, anyways, that's kind of my list or my take for the prettiest girls in the world. I've been traveling the world for almost 20 years now, and that's just kind of my observations. If you agree, let me know. Tell me down in the comments if I left out some countries, and especially, like I said, if you've been somewhere and you say I'm completely off, let me know. But anyways, so that's it for today. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks.